Hey guys, it's Andrew.
And I'm Kobe, and welcome to episode 2 of Uncut.
Wow.
Episode 2.
Jeez. We got one under the belt.
We got one under our belt, and we are on our way.
Yeah, we got some momentum going, so let's keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you been?
Oh, it's been crazy. Speaking of momentum, the year started kind of slow. We actually took a trip kind of just so we could work remote. So I had time to work on the company versus in the company. And it was cool. We explored
snowboarding.
Yeah,
you guys are always having so much fun. I want to be there with you guys too.
Are you going anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, we're going snowboarding actually.
Ooh, where? When?
No, for spring break we're gonna go to Alaska and Seattle, and we're taking the family, and we're just gonna go. I mean, the girls love to travel, so that's what we love to do. So we're just gonna go visit friends and hopefully find some snow. They're little snowboarders.
Dang, can I come?
Yeah. Yeah, you can babysit.
Oh yeah. We'll rip it down the hills together. I don't know how you guys do it, being a mom and then also owning a business and then running it and
yeah, I don't know either. I mean, some days are super long and it's definitely a journey, but I have so much respect for working moms, stay-at-home moms.
Yeah, that reminds me of another badass mom that I know. Amy Wong, our second guest today.
Our second guest.
I know,
love
also
her.
An entrepreneur. She started Big Bad Wolf for Ella, actually. Just a cool clothing brand for kids. And then Boldface. And she also manages Jasper's projects from Powwow to, all his collabs. And
she's ripped.
Yeah, she's also an F45 ambassador, which is crazy.
I don't know how
she works out every day on top of everything.
I do not know how she does all that.
Yeah, but it's cool and exciting because they are involved in this new and up and coming thing, NFTs, and Jasper just launched this project, and Amy's they call her the Queen Foamy. But yeah, it's super exciting, and she shares all that.
Yeah, I don't completely understand that whole world, and she's talking in a different language when she's talking about it, but it's pretty amazing that she's learned everything and now killing it. So yeah, let's get into it.
Today we have Amy Wong, amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur, wife, mother,
all-around
badass.
Oh,
yeah.
So welcome.
But keep going.
Is that how I do it? Do I go like this? I've never been in a podcast.
Oh yeah, no, we can just
sit
have a
down
conversation, and
okay.
We're stoked to have you on here, and talk about your story and your growth and.
Also, you're just the most fit person I've probably ever seen in real life. I'm
you're
I can see your abs without you even trying to flex them. I'm
well, I knew that I was coming here, and so I don't wear makeup, but I made sure my stomach wore makeup. So there was a lot of shadowing. I don't even know how to. I gotta talk to Sarah for that.
See, check out her Instagram, dude. She's working out every day with Jasper, and
yeah,
they're F45 ambassadors.
To get off your ass
ambassadors.
and start working
out.
out.
I was F45 ambassador first.
Ooh, before
it was
the OG
because of
ambassador.
The pandemic.
Ooh.
They liked my TikToks.
Oh, nice.
I was super lucky because I didn't have any followers. I mean, I still don't, but I got lucky.
Because you were working out at home and filming that.
I think I just gave them a sense of ease. It was just such an emotional time that I came with humor.
What's crazy though is not a lot of people know this, but Amy had a YouTube channel before everything. And
you
not a lot of people know this about her, but
what did you talk about?
It was just funny content.
Really?
So
tell us about that.
So when bloggers and YouTubers were starting to get really popular, I was trying to jump on that train. But then while I was jumping on that train, I was doing a lot of I was just teasing things parodies and stuff. And then I met Jasper, and then I slowly got off the train because I was trying to woo him and
I don't want him to see your YouTube.
Down. No, he was in my YouTubes.
I
was slapping his face. It was really silly things. And
oh my gosh, you could have been
there was a shake weight. There was a shake weight one.
Before Ali Wong, it would have been
Amy Wong.
I
mean, she had a shake weight one, which is super funny.
Oh my god.
But so that was before, and it kind of just led back to you creating this content now with TikTok and everything.
I feel like I have the same energy and the same excitement that I had for YouTube with TikTok. But again, it's really hard to I got some viral videos, but it's not consistent, and I'm also not consistent with constantly.
That's a huge
posting.
one. Yeah,
I can't do
consistency.
that. I
But
learn
it
from
does like bring a lot of joy into so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Like I see people sharing your stuff. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
So you
Jasper
know,
hates it.
but you,
And
he's
you
kind of forced.
also
yeah.
feature him a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's my best content. I get a lot of views when he's on, so I kind of have to use him.
So thank you,
He
Jasper.
plays a part for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, yeah. So a lot of people know you as, you know, like
Jasper's wife.
no, like the face of power. You manage everything, and like you have your own brand, Big Bad Wolf. But like before that, you know, before you met Jasper and stuff, like, you know, what were you into, and you know, like how did you get into all of this?
Were
I know,
you
like
always an entrepreneur?
I had a unsuccessful brand in college.
oh,
So I was going to school to become an interior designer and minor in psychology, but for some reason I was drawn to being an entrepreneur from the start. And so I created a business which is super tacky now. It's like the phase. I don't even want to drop names because then I don't want you guys to think it's tacky. So, it was like, you know, it had like wings and stuff, and it was called
Like Victoria's Secret?
No, I didn't have the boobs for it, so that was out of the question. It was called Nuage, and it was like really lame, but at that time it was amazing to me. And my older brother gave me like $500 to like help me build my inventory, and it failed like pretty fast, but it wasn't one of those where I invested so much in where I was really sad. But I just transitioned from that to like working 3 jobs after. So I don't remember much about that, but I was always trying to do something. And my family, I believe, are a bunch of entrepreneurs, or they try to be. And so I think I got that energy and motivation from them.
That's awesome. How old were you? So you started a lingerie line.
Not a lingerie. It had wings on it. It was like a tank top with wings. It's just,
not lingerie.
Not lingerie.
why are you laughing? It wasn't Victoria's Secret. It was definitely not Amy's Secret. So,
Nuage.
Don't look it up.
Because it sounds like lingerie.
I don't even remember what the meaning of that was. I even had like a Buddha on a shirt. It was
Nice.
like all
So it
over.
was just
It
like
was like super Asian
graphic tees
inspired.
and stuff, Asian inspired.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you know, like a wannabe.
It was cool back in the day. I think it's coming back. Yeah.
It's coming back.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
My
relaunch
parents
Nuage.
were like, "That's bad luck putting a Buddha on a shirt." I was like, "Fuck, I don't know." I was like, "It looked cool."
So Buddha was wearing the wings.
No, that was a different collection.
Oh gosh, we're gonna.
You gotta keep up.
I know.
You gotta
We're
keep
gonna
up.
need
This
to
is not
see
gonna be
this.
1
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
This is not gonna be 1 hour. No, so I had like that, and it was just like 2 designs, which is the wings and the Buddha. And then I would sell it in little stores. So I did the hustle of like introducing my brand to different stores, and I think people probably felt more sorry for me, so they got the brand into their stores, and it was like impressive.
Wow.
But it was very little, and I like kind of begged them, and I was like, consignment. It's okay, consignment. I don't even want to do the wholesale. We'll just do consignment.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got it in a few stores, and so it taught me a lot of like how to make like wholesale price lists, spreadsheets with like sizing and everything. And I did that all on my own. Like I did.
That's pretty
I just
amazing.
figured
That's
it out.
awesome,
Yeah.
And then, you know, school happened, and then I ended up working 3 jobs because I paid for my own tuition. So we're not from a wealthy family. My parents are immigrants from Vietnam. And so, you know, my dad's a taxi driver and my mom's a housewife. And so I was trying to work. So I think at that time I was working at a lingerie shop. Holy cow. It's a full circle.
It was a lingerie brand.
In Kahala
You just didn't know.
Morgan Barrett.
Uh-huh.
In Kahala, it was like high-end like lingerie, like $200 bras. I was working there part-time, and I was working at Sephora as like the fragrance girl. Like, here, you know. And I think I forgot. I did something else. I think Thinker Toys. Like all 3 random
Wow.
stuff.
Kahala, yeah, yeah.
And I was like
hustling.
stock. I was just like the stock person. The saddest moment, though, I think that was my first letdown was when Thinker Toys didn't hire me back for seasonal stock. And then I didn't see my name on the paychecks, and I was like, oh, shit, this is their way of breaking up with me. Yeah, and so then I started just constantly becoming a workaholic. So that was all I knew. I just wanted to work. And then so I went into that journey of like the retail world, graduated. I had a stable job at Salvatore Ferragamo. And then that's when I was able to slowly move up into like the high-end retail and into management. And then along the way, I met Jasper and got pregnant. And now I'm doing everything for Jasper. I'm his, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm his bitch.
No.
No, I'm not his bitch. He's my bitch. He is my bitch.
That's gonna start the podcast. That's gonna be on Instagram. Yeah. Who's your bitch?
Jasper Wong. And so everything was happening, and it's just so crazy, the journey. But I was my mindset was entrepreneur.
You had that mindset from the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you actually created a brand.
Yeah, and I met you through Powwow and all that stuff, right? And like you created that brand. So tell us about Big Bad Wolf and like why and like how and.
I did not create Powwow, if that's what you're saying.
No.
I created Big Bad Wolf. Okay, so that was another thing. So that was the perfect storm. So I was working at Salvatore Ferragamo as an assistant manager. I got pregnant really fast, 3 months, and so I'm just gonna sidetrack. There was this one thing that I said to Jasper, and I think that like messed him up because I was making money. Okay, I was making really good money, and he was just like an artist,
Starving artist.
Artist. And I told him when I was pregnant, I was like, "You better make money because I can't take care of all of us." Okay, so that was me talking my shit.
You better
You better step up.
I totally fucked that up. I'm so sorry. Like he remembered that. And from then on, like something in him. So he did Powwow as a passion year 1, but I ignited his ass and he was super upset. But he's never told me, right?
Uh-huh.
And then within that time that I was igniting his ass, I quit my job because I wasn't happy. And then we would have, like every couple, right? So we realistically, if you were to look at our timeline, we usually have one huge fight a year. Just one.
Powwow.
But it's not Powwow, surprisingly. It's finances.
Oh.
It's always about money.
Yep.
Because now he has to do all of that. And I'm just like talking my shit, and I'm like, I'm sorry, and then he's like, well, I have to do so much work, and then you want me to do this, and then, and so then there was a moment where I was trying to figure myself out. I was like, maybe I'll do an ice cream shop. So that was my next thing. I was like, maybe I'll do an ice cream shop, or maybe we can talk to Andy Nguyen and do like an afters ice cream in Hawaii. Uh-huh. So when he was blowing up, I was like, maybe we should talk to him. And so Jasper was cute. He bought me the KitchenAid, like whatever, for ice cream. And I didn't even use it. I spent another $300.99 and I didn't even use it. And then he was like, oh, great. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just, you guys look like you guys are having problems with your like merchandise. Like you guys don't have a real good system. I'll help you guys, And so that was my calling. I did the merchandise.
For Powwow.
For Powwow, it exploded and did amazing. And
you were on like Hypebeast and everything.
Yeah, it was a really good moment. And then, then I started to get like greedy, right? Like you walk back and you're like, where's the light? I want the light to shine on me. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't just like, give you the light all the time. You're like this guy that's starting to get popular, and now I'm just like this wife. And so, but I needed his money. So I was like, Jasper, I need to do something. So we were at Powwow, Taiwan, and I was having like lunch with all the artists, and
you were pregnant at this point, or you
yes.
had?
Oh yeah, I was.
Ella, yeah.
I think Ella was. That was the first trip that Ella didn't come with us. So she was like probably like year 1, and I was talking to everybody, and for some reason because I had Ella, I was like, there's no really cool like streetwear brand that are with kids, but I'm not an artist, so then I need help. And then I was like, oh my God, what if I make it a all collaboration streetwear brand? And at that time in my memory in Hawaii, I didn't recall anybody doing small business with collaborations, like a lot of collaborations.
Especially with these big name artists and everything.
Right.
Around the
And
world.
so I started asking Jasper's friends? And they're like, yeah. And then at that time, you know, we're in the moment. I'm like, Jasper, can you help me make this? And then he was like, okay. And Jasper is really good because he's always said yes to me. And I think he wanted to do that because he wanted me to find my passion. And so then I did it, and then I got more like hungry, and I was like, maybe I should open up a shop, even though it was like less than a year. I got into a ward warehouse, and it was like a good, you know, it was good because the overhead wasn't that much. And then I got more hungry, and that's what happens when you're a business owner. You kind of want to keep going because you think that's what you're supposed to do. You always want to shoot for the best. And then it was I went over my head. I went into South Shore Market. Overhead was like 3-4 times, and then I didn't want to be there all day, and they had set mall hours, and so I had to hire people, then get insurance and all this stuff. And I really was struggling. Like by year 2, I was really struggling. And then at that time, you know, my lease ended right before the pandemic. So 2020, January. Yeah. I didn't foresee the pandemic, but I felt that something was happening in China. So at that time as well, I already had the beauty salon shop. And so when I had the beauty salon shop with not much overhead, like inventory, and I saw Big Bad Wolf, it was never something that I wanted to give up. People would come in, and I'm like, see, this is why I want to have the shop and keep going, because people love it. And then I know these people, I know the customers. But then realistically, when I took a step back, I was like, boldface, like service industry is probably the best right now. And then I was like, and that's when I realized something was happening in China. So I wasn't hoarding, but we needed supplies, and I would buy a shit ton of supplies to protect boldface. And then at that point, I was just like, you know what, I can't do Big Bad Wolf. And so it was like the hardest thing, but I told them that I couldn't renew my lease, and that maybe one day I will go back online, and which is like where it's slowly happening now, that I'm like, it's like breathing again. But it's just
like a business decision.
Man, what a blessing in disguise. So, like, you would have never like seen that, like what was about to happen. But can you just imagine if you signed?
I would probably go bankrupt. Honestly, I just thank goodness that everything just happened. Like if it wasn't for Boldface, I wouldn't have seen that, you know, maybe this side is better than this side. And I would have kept going because it's your baby.
It's your baby.
And you don't want to know that it failed, you know? Yeah. But then I was like, okay, I know that it's time to go, and I know that I can revisit this one day. Not necessarily a store, but online. It's more
you still
manageable.
Have the brand, and it's still
you don't have that giant overhead of like renting
and it's
space.
just me, so I can just do it, and you know, and it's fine. And we have multiple spaces where we can house our inventory. And so I was like, okay, this makes more sense.
Yeah. So speaking of.
Yeah. So you know.
So then we open up an NFT.
Yeah. So we talked about Powwow. We talked about Big Bad Wolf, into Boldface, and then, you know, like, what's next, like into the future. Like, you know, you and Jasper are such a power couple, like doing all these things, and NFTs and crypto. Like, tell us a little bit about, you know.
Well, first off, we're so fortunate to be able to work cohesively together. So I've been working with him for like 9 years.
Yeah,
and you're still together.
And we're still together. Yeah. And you know what? The weird thing is, like, we go into our office and we put our egos aside. So he has no ego and I have no ego, even though I have probably more of a demanding authority voice. I come in with like no ego, and I'm like, what do you think about this? Even though I know the answer. I'm like, you know, and
make him feel like he's part of it.
Right. Make him feel like, you know, he's important for his own brand. And I think like we worked so well together that he wanted to carry me into the NFT world because I'm his bookkeeper. So not only am I, you know, Big Bad Wolf and Boldface and I do Powwow, I'm their bookkeeper. And I'm Jasper's bookkeeper.
And you're a mom.
And I'm a mom.
Of 2. And you're an influencer. And
ambassador, F45 ambassador.
Well, I don't know how to be an influencer because I only have 2,000 followers on Twitter. On Twitter too.
Yeah. But it's quality of the followers.
Yeah. It is actually. I really have really good friends on Instagram because I have a lot of how do you like? It's like a good rate of like when I post something, I'll get people wanting to buy it. I just have really good
influence.
and people believe me.
No, that's awesome. And I think like that's a big thing about like NFTs and crypto, right? Like the community based side of it. So tell us about the Discord, the FOMO Mofo. Like Jasper invited,
and you have to explain it to me because I'm like I have zero knowledge.
Yeah,
like
so Colby
Andrew
has
was trying to
zero
explain it
knowledge,
to me, and then my eyes are like glazing
and
over.
even like our listeners, I think like it's always out there like crypto, NFTs, and people hear about it, but it's like they don't really get exposed to it too much. So it's like, how did you guys get into it? And like, you know, you guys, I think, you know, reconnected with an old friend, and you know, I think you actually made it happen. You built the connection.
I low-key did, but when they talk about it, they don't talk about me saying it. So I'm just waiting.
I think FOMO Mofo is because of Amy. So
I think so too.
And
I am the founder of the founders.
And now it's on record.
So tell us about that and
so,
like, you know, that whole pivot and going into the future and what's next.
Okay, so pandemic happened. Jasper's friend Beepo, who did the
crazy.
I don't know how much millions.
He sold a piece for like 69 million.
69 million.
Which is like the record.
It kind of, and then,
oh my God.
One NFT piece.
Yeah. And then his other good friend, James Jean, he did really well. And then Jasper's like, this is something that I, you know, pushed in the back of my hand, like my mind when Bitcoin came out. He said, I knew about it. I just ignored it. And he goes, I'm not going to ignore it this time. So Jasper jumped in and he did his one-of-one type of arts. Just like a typical art, just like people, everybody who just put an art up. Yes, it's a JPEG, but it's in a blockchain, so it's fully yours. So imagine like a car, right? Anyone can drive the car, like JPEG. Anyone can use it and they can put it on their profile, but to own the ownership of it, that's fully yours. And you would be on this blockchain of all these codes that like make it yours.
So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens, and basically it's a JPEG, whether it's digital art or like a photo of something. And the whole blockchain, the whole side of it is like people work to make these codes that basically say, Kobe, you own this NFT because you bought it.
And we can search you. We can find it through you. So we can access your wallet, which is, so there's there's a bunch of things. So there's two types of NFTs that I know right now. And I could be wrong because I'm not professional at this and I'm not financial advice. I think a lot of people say that. So I'm going to say I'm not a financial advice. But Jasper was doing those typical one-on-ones where you just bid. And you buy and you bid, oh, I want to buy it. And so they buy it. But the problem that we ran into was that he had to start from scratch. Jasper Wong, real life, was not Jasper Wong.
Oh,
NFT.
okay.
It's a small percentage.
It's a whole different community.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a small percentage of people.
Like, people would still know, like, from...
Kind of, but still, like, I think...
But this is global, real fast.
Right.
And there's only 1% of people collecting NFTs. So imagine that you're trying to hit this 1%.
Yeah.
And so it was really devastating, like hurt his ego a little bit.
I remember those first projects.
He was like, man, no one's, like he would have anxiety posting it up to go live and minting it. And then minting means like he just puts it on and then he pays a fee for it to go live where someone can bid on it. Mm-hmm. And nobody did. But then eventually somebody did and he felt, oh, good. But it was very... like it was an emotional roller coaster, and I don't think that was healthy for him. Mm-hmm. But it was like an emotional roller coaster. And for me, I kind of took a step back because I didn't know anything about it. When he explained it to me at that time, I'm probably like you now, like I don't want to know. It's just I'm good.
Yeah. Megan's like I don't want to.
Just pass, right?
Yeah.
And then moving forward, he kept trying. He was able to do something. He did something on a platform called Maker's Place where he now put 40 images up. And he was working hand in hand with Maker's Place. He couldn't even get on a platform. Like nobody cared to talk to him. Mm-hmm. So he was like trying to like go in different routes and it's just impossible. Then he finally got onto Maker's Place and it started to ease up a little bit by then because he sold all 40 NFTs within 24 hours. Nice. So it was great. And at that time that he sold that, one of the NFT guys is his partner had bought a set. So 4 of the NFTs.
His partner now for
his partner now, ASAP, he purchased it. Now, within that time, they were both living this separate life of ASAP was becoming a crypto influencer. So he had a really quick following from like...
He's a crypto collector. I mean, NFT collector.
NFT, crypto, he was familiar with that world. And so he was, you know, I seen him at 1,000 followers on Instagram to like 70,000 really quick. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And he would always say, not financial advice. So I always say that too. And then I saw ASAP again, and he was at my shop. And so he was talking to me, and I said, hey, Jasper's doing like Maker's Place, and he's dropping these big amounts of art, and I think it's going to do really crazy. Like, we're so hyped on it. And he goes, oh, I should talk to Jasper. And then they started all over again. And it was like more experience from both sides now. So Jasper knew a little bit more about selling his art because now he could sell it. And then ASAP was very educated on everything else on that world. And so when you merge those two together, you're now merging this one important aspect, which is ASAP. He's like that 1%. So you got that.
He knows the demographic.
He knows the demographic. Yeah. You got him, and he has a whole field of people in the metaverse that are into what he's into. So to collect them all and talk about it, he basically was like the manager of Jasper at that point. And then they wanted to involve me, and I don't even know how that happened. It just happened where they're like, okay, Amy, we're going to do a Discord. We're going to go check it out. And I was like, what the heck is Discord? I have to download another social media. I'm not even that good with my other ones. Like, I can't even be perfecting it. And they're like, okay, well, just take a look. So I had no idea from my side. I don't know what was happening with how they were working. I saw Jasper doing the work, and I was like, oh, really cool. So now he's in the PFP side. So there's that one, you know, bidding. And now he went into the NFT PFPs, which you do, you know, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 PFPs, which basically means profile pics. So you're doing profile pics for these collectors that they just put on their profile. And you sell it for very, you know, low because you want them to buy. You know, you're making, like, he was making 8,008. People think, why did you choose the number 8,008? And there's a lot of reasons, but my reason, I think, because, you know, there's 808 in there, but I think he wanted to spell boob. But that's my own interpretation.
I think so too. Knowing Jasper, I see it now.
Yeah, because he can't do 808. So he's like, I'm going to do 8,000.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's, you know, that's just my assuming. So to sell 8,008, you need to really get into that market and then sell it for a good price. So he was selling it at 0.8 Ethereum, and at that time it was roughly $800, I think.
At the time,
at that time. And so we didn't even have our collection yet. I go onto Discord, and I'm like pretty much touring around, checking all the channels and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, a wave of like 1,000 members within 30 seconds comes in. And they're like, hi, good morning, good morning.
What's the platform like? Is it kind of like...
Discord is it's like a WhatsApp, or like a chat room, basically.
Okay.
But it lives on the phone, and like people build different servers for different things, and
they have bots in there to control things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Discord became FOMO Mofo community, which if in our lame terms, it would be like shareholders.
Okay.
So you buy a part of us, you become a shareholder of us. So now you have that power to like be involved. You have a say. And so we were going, and I was blown away because I didn't know metaverse lingo. It's like a whole new world of it. And I didn't know Discord, and I didn't really know crypto. And I had to learn all of that. And I feel like it was like speed learning in
it forces you to grow.
It forced me to grow really fast. And then I became, and it's so funny because I don't like to be called boss babe or babe or like, it's just really amusing to me. And I mean, no offense to anybody, it's just not me. So when people say boss babe to me, I'm like, ew, don't say that, because I don't like to
boss.
You don't need to say you're a boss babe if you are bossing, right? So I was just like, don't call me anything like that ever. But I respect the other people that are boss babes, but I don't want to be known as that.
Yeah.
Then they called me Queen Foamy. And I was like, that's like the highest boss babe that title that you could
queen,
give me.
yeah.
So now I'm like in it, and now that's my role. I'm like the foamy queen. So because I'm Jasper's wife, so they call me the queen. And so we were like talking to people. Then we noticed there was like almost 2,000 people, and we're like, holy cow, stop this. Like, how do we stop this? So we closed our invite, and then we were sifting through all the bots. I wasn't. I was just talking to everybody and having fun. And they were doing all the hard work. And then it became so hyped up. Everybody was like, how do I get in? How do I get in? How do I get in? And we took a while to let people in because we're still trying to clean. And I think that was like the perfect storm.
Yep.
You know, you should.
You make it like an exclusive secret thing.
Yeah, but it was like intentionally we were just trying to clean the bots out, but then it became a thing. And I don't know if other people were following that route. I don't know because I don't follow other Discords, but it felt like we were kind of trending in a sense. Creating our own little like system of going. And I think that was the perfect storm for us. And then we had like a good team, and whatever ASAP did, he brought in a whole bunch of people, and it just kept growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, so tell us about the release and how it went, and like,
So there's this thing called, people call it whitelist, but we don't like to use that term, so we call it pre-sales. So it's like real life pre-sales where we'll give 2,500 pre-sale spots. And depending on how active you are in our Discord, like each enter sentence that you write in counts as like one, right?
It's
so
crazy.
Then if you become
it's like a whole technology.
Yeah, so then there's levels now. So there's levels, but you gotta remember, they call it grinding. People can just be like, hi, and then that's one, what's up? And not really communicate. But we wanted it to be organic. So we were like, please, no grinding. No grinding, just talk regular, and then you'll level up. And so people eventually leveled up. So you can mint, which means you can purchase up to 3 depending on your level. So how high you are, you can get up to 3 by the time that it's time to mint. And so so that would be, if everybody were to go up to the max level, that would be almost 75% of the PFPs being sold. Then we want to make sure a couple thousand was left over for public sale. And so then we were antsy because now we're like having anxiety because we're waiting for the developers, we call them devs, the devs to like finish everything, make sure that's
crazy.
And then there's a smart contract side, and we're like, we have to have developers build this contract, and they over executed it in a sense where they wanted to protect it even more. Jasper and ASAP. So they hired extra devs, and it was like really insane because we had such a hopefully perfect contract, but we don't know. So we're hoping that this will not fail us in terms of someone hacking it. Now we have to risk we could be hacked.
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know until we post it. So we put it up, minting. Everyone's like, wow, the gas price is good. So then there's also like the transaction fees, which they are gas prices. It can go from like $20 to like couple grand. Just to get something, if there's a war, if there's a gas war. So they call it gas wars. And so because you were minting 24 hours before public, then there's no reason to fight. So you can mint within the 24 hours, but then once it hits a certain time, we're going to make it public. And that's when the gas wars happen. We sold out in 10 seconds.
That's crazy. All 8,008.
All 8,008 in public sale. Yeah. So there was like, whatever was left. Sold out in 10 seconds. And then people were like, oh, they blamed it on like bots. And that could happen. There is a high chance that bots can buy. But when you looked at how many people were holding it, because it's all on OpenSea, everything you can look up. It's all public. Right? The holders, there was a pretty good amount of holders. There, it was almost half. So if there was bots, there wasn't a lot. Maybe. I could be wrong. And then we sold out, and we were just like, so we tried to celebrate by going to the Ritz together as a team, but no one even drank or like said anything. We were just,
what do you mean?
We were just shocked. We were seeing the process, and nobody was celebrating. We were just like quiet.
In awe,
Yeah, we were just like, Did you guys do that one yet? And like, it was just like too serious. It was like too serious for our own good, but we were just so stressed out.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't a vacation. It was like high stress because we wanted to make sure. And then there was at one point where like minting didn't work for like a good amount of time because OpenSea screwed up somehow where it like slowed us down and everyone's like, oh, broken sea. Cause then like we were just panicking because we're like, oh my God, what's happening? And then people were buying and we were like, oh, okay, it's working. And then we also saw another side of the community for the grinders, right? The people that are doing this for their living. This is what they do. They grind, they get whitelist or pre-sale, and then if they don't get it, they're so angry and they leave. But it becomes very toxic really fast. So they'll come in and then they'll be like, stupid, bots. And then you see like happy 100% to like really angry people. And you're like, and then ASAP was like, Amy, don't look at Discord.
Dealing all of that.
So then you have to deal with all that emotion of angry people that couldn't get in, and then eventually, you know, they subside and they leave, right? They're like, okay, well, this sucks. Let's go to the next project. And there's a lot of projects, and so they would just move on to the next, and then you kind of have to like let it ride out for all the holders and the flippers to like do their thing, the economy, and then now it's like pretty stable. And so you'll have new people coming in, but it's like very healthy community right now. And so
that must be like very exciting, you know, like going into a new space, like from Web 2 to Web 3 is what they're calling it, and like learning new things, like what like force you to learn, and like, you know, as an entrepreneur.
That was the first release you said?
That's our first release. Yeah. So and that's our only release right now.
So it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. And you would think we underestimated this whole thing because we're like, okay, we're done. We sold out. Yay. No. Now you got to make sure the community is involved with every single move. And we are not going to FUD you. Like, we're not going to like, bye, like rug you. That's what they say. They rug you where you like,
do one and then
dig out. And you know, Jasper, he doesn't have that heart.
He's all about community and all that. So.
And so he is like committed. And so we're like, okay, well now let's show the community what we got. And then you also get those people that are like, yeah, right, he's lying. Oh yeah. And then they want a roadmap. You know, that's the next step after they sell out. They're like, when roadmap? And we're like, and I keep saying it from like a business standpoint. I'm saying roadmaps are nice, but everything changes as time passes. And I'm a robot because I repeat it over and over. But then I realized that a lot of people ask for roadmap because there's a lot of scams.
So like past experiences
and
for
they
them
don't
and all that. Yeah.
trust you. So you got to
build that trust and all that.
So the roadmap is goals. What can you do for us now that we have your stuff? So we're like, okay. So then one of them is a Fomely fund. So now you can see how much money we have in this fund that we will update you every time we remove money so that we can put it back to the community.
Because it's like they're shareholders, so they deserve that.
So they deserve all that knowledge.
That's so crazy. Like this whole new metaverse and like this whole community aspect of it, and like owning tokens and tokenizing events and stuff. So it's gonna be like the future, and I think
and you want to prove yourself to the community because they are what made you. And so for us, we thought we could breathe, but now we're in a whole new level of like pumping just to make sure that we make everyone happy. And realistically, we can't. Like Jasper just dropped a big alpha, which is the big secret, that we were going to do something with Uniqlo Hawaii. And it was huge. But then we got a lot of disappointed people because it's all over the world, these shareholders. So they're like,
oh, we don't have access to that.
They're like, what kind of lame project is this? We can't even buy it? And so I knew that, and I was like, oh my God, we're going to like get like a lot of heat on us. So I was like, hey, Jasper, is there any way that we could like buy bulk from them, and then we won't take any cost.
Like
we'll just put it online. You know, and they can't choose. So I'm just trying to pivot the brand, and I'm just like, here, let's do this. And it worked. They approved, but now they're going through the legal side to make sure everything's smooth before they can announce when it can happen. And so, you know, we can't make everyone happy. And I don't think, you know, people, so like when you're in like the metaverse life, 1 week feels like a month. It's just because you're just constantly talking to your phone or your computer, and so everything is all sped up. The world is slow around you, but everything's fast in there. And so we can't make them happy, but we also have to have them see that realistically, you don't get a global brand to partner with you within a week of launch.
Yeah,
Right, right,
You know? So
Right.
Jasper is putting his name out there because he's built these relationships with everybody so that he can speed it up, but it just might not be global. It's just
Right.
going to be
Yeah.
Hawaii, but I think that's a great start for them to know that, okay, he means business and he's trying to...
He's not like scamming.
Yeah,
you or
he's not
anything.
trying to scam anybody. And Jasper is like, that's his biggest fear, is like, I don't want people to think
Yeah.
that we're in it for the money, because
Yeah.
we're going to be here and write it out with them. And he even gave them the rights. So for your PFP, certain PFPs...
You can do whatever you want with
You
it.
can do whatever you want with it, as long as you use your ID. So if you're like FOMO MOFO number 726, you can make a shirt and you can sell it, but it has to have that logo in there.
Right.
And he's even dropping a blind box toy.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Which is going to take like a year, and so people are probably like, "This is too long." But then you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, we're going to let you see the process of how it works, because
Right.
if anybody who's anybody, they don't know the process. So for you guys to experience that, to me, it's more valuable than like getting a free like pre-sale for something else.
That's so
Yeah.
cool because it kind of sounds like you guys are leading this like narrative in the metaverse too. Like not just kind of going with it, but like also putting your boundaries and like
Yeah, there's
because it's like Web3 is so new, so it's like you're essentially like developing your own terms.
At least for
and, like,
Hawaii,
exactly. Yeah,
you
and
know?
I think
Yeah.
Hawaii is like. Yeah, I think you guys might be one of the first PFP projects. You know, we were kind of talking about it, and it's like I didn't really hear about any others, and
I never heard any other. I could be wrong. There
Yeah.
might be, and there are
might
like
be,
NFT
yeah,
artists, but the PFP,
For a PFP
that was
space.
successful,
Yeah.
I never heard through news. But then again, you know, maybe 2 months ago it wasn't as popular as now.
Exactly,
So
yeah,
it's like, so like I could be wrong, but I think we did have a lot of eyes on us when
that's
we
awesome.
sold out. And so that's a lot of pressure, but
That's a lot of
yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun to like sit down with you again like 6 months or a year from now
Yeah,
and be
see,
like,
wearing like a gold chain.
I'm in the metaverse. No,
a literal queen crown.
our next interview will be on the metaverse.
sitting
which is
on
like, what
land.
does that even mean?
Be
Yeah,
sitting on land and talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I know. Like, there's like so much you can go into like a deep dark hole on it. But
I
like,
know.
I want to bring it back to you. You know, like so like Boldface. Like, what's next for Boldface too? And
And
I know
all
it's like
the
a big
things, like,
everything else that you're doing.
More
And like,
for you.
and like
'cause
why are you doing it? You know, it's like
Yeah, like
your-
for
your
you, you have
daughters
all of
and-
these. You and Jasper just like, or like Andrew said, like this power couple. And so like anything that you do, you're gonna be successful at it. Like whether it's retail, whether it's service, whether it's NFTs. Like,
I think it's like we just have to keep pushing. So that's the key, you know. We don't. It just success doesn't come overnight. We keep pushing and keep trying. And even when we don't succeed, to me, all those failures is a success for me.
nice. Yep, learn from those. Yep.
I learned from it. You know, I learned a lot from Big Bad Wolf, and it got me traumatized to how I treat Boldface. So like, I'm super frugal with Boldface spending because I don't want to be where I was with Big Bad Wolf in terms of debt. And right now, it's funny that you say that. It's such a perfect time, but we are actually having to move because they're going to break down the building.
Right.
And at the same time, I also lost a really good esthetician. And I'm proud of her because she became her own boss babe.
No, nice.
She became her own boss babe. But at this time, too, there was a lot going on prior to the NFT that I actually was planning to pivot already. And I thought that it's no longer about Boldface anymore. It's about the team. So I was like, how am I going to support the team differently? And so I decided, and I didn't really talk about this yet to the whole world because I was waiting for a space, but now we're kind of in the lease part of it where we're negotiating. So I feel comfortable saying it. But I'm trying to let go of Boldface and having to teach the team how to become their own boss. So
Nice.
whether it's me building their website, basically handing them over their own little program and they just run with it, and I'm on the sidelines like rooting for
Supporting
them
and, like,
and supporting
creating
them.
the resources and
And they can rent from me, and then it would just turn into a rent space, and they can just take on anything, and it would just be like me giving them their tools.
Yeah.
So everyone is going to be their own boss. It's not going to be Boldface. It's going to be, you know, Marianne and Courtney and all these. It's going to be their own. And I'm hoping that whatever I can share with them, they can experience the best way to become your own boss and run with it themselves. Now, if they need my help, I'll still be there.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're gonna,
awesome.
Yeah, that's
so
amazing. So it's like you've gone through everything, and now you're creating resources and basically like bringing on the next
you're
generation.
empowering
Yeah.
them,
Empowering, yeah.
empowering them, but also creating a safe space for them to do it.
Exactly,
too.
because that's the scary part. You
Yeah.
can go and I cannot tell you any secrets
Right,
of how
right.
I run things. Or you can stay with me and I'll help build you and meet with you and see what you need. And like, is it worth it for you
That's-
at this point in your life with what you're making? Is it worth it for you to open your own shop? You have to think about all these different things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, if
So
you're like,
valuable.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
and so that's the only thing that I can give, right?
Yeah.
So I want to give that to them, and so far everybody has been positive. It was positive. Everyone was happy because I think they also. I don't want to brag that they like me, but I feel like they didn't want to leave either because
Yeah.
they're like stuck in the middle. They're like, well, if
Oh
I
yeah,
leave,
you fought
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them.
yeah,
You're their family.
So
like, yeah.
So I mean, this is in my head. I could be completely wrong. They probably, but I just feel like they've been loyal to me for so long that
Yeah.
it's so hard to just go on their own and not make me feel upset, right? Like
Right.
how
They don't want to disappoint
it'll be
you.
weird,
Yeah.
right? This island is small. You don't, like me, I would feel weird if I
Yeah.
was in their shoes, and I would try to ease it in, but there's no way of like letting go unless both sides are ready. And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to make myself ready so that they can leave. And now I'm at a point where I'm going to be super happy when anybody leaves me, knowing that I taught them what I could, and hopefully they run a business within 1 year and be successful versus, like being in debt for two years.
That's awesome.
And so I hope that I could do that for them.
Yeah.
Boss.
That's amazing. Boss. Queen. Queen.
Just
Boss
growing
baby.
up. It's just, that's letting go of the
Realizing,
ego.
yep. Yeah.
I just have to
Yeah.
let go. You can't win. You can't win everything. You can't win.
Yeah.
All these estheticians, they come out, they're hungry, they're good at what they do. They don't need you.
Yeah.
But if you can give them some type of thing to value, they'll stay by you. And
Right. You're
so-
giving them community. You're giving them power, and
Yeah, you're empowering them. That's such a
So,
good, like
yeah.
a big word. Like Kobe's all about that, and we're all about
Yeah.
like empowering. the
I
community,
love
like,
my staff
taking
so
care-
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be really sad, but it's also like if they're around and they decide to rent from me, then it's like I'm really
Yeah,
happy,
still,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Either way, it still works out. So we're
That's awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear how all of these things
Yeah.
Oh,
play
gosh,
out
yes.
because it's just you're so inspiring,
Thank
honestly,
you.
and like
Thank you for
being
sharing
a
your
woman,
story, yeah.
being a boss, being a mom, and a wife, like all the things that you do. It's like it's so inspiring, and I hope that a lot of people are inspired by your story and
Yeah.
follow
Hope
you.
so.
Yeah.
I follow you
Thank
on
you.
TikTok.
Yeah, give
Look-
me an
look for the-
I'm going to be an influencer.
look for the shake weight video. No, again, thank you so much for spending your time with us and
Yes.
sharing your insight on your story.
No,
and
I'm
everything,
glad.
and
I'm
you watch.
honored.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so
Where can they find you?
where can they find you?
Oh, God.
Yeah, do a quick
you
shout
can't
out.
find me. Don't find me. You can find me on Instagram. Is this what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing that. Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Amy Wong, or I'm an ambassador at F45 Kahala. I'm always there at 8:45, depending on how busy my workload is. And I'm on Twitter at Amy Foamy. So that's my other name. So Amy Foamy, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you again. We're so stoked to have you on here, and
Thank you.
we've been friends for so long, and it's
know.
finally get to hear your story. And
How did we meet?
we probably met at powwow. I think we met at powwow.
No, I feel like I helped you with powwow. No, I'm just
She's the queen.
make
She's the
things
queen of
happen.
powwow. Yeah.
No, really, I don't know how I met. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's been a long time though.
it was something, and then we went to Japan together, and that was when I first met Ella and all that, and she got super close. So yeah, I'm so grateful for you and Jasper.
I know.
Jasper
You-
has been such a you both have been like such a pivotal role in my career and all that. So I'm super stoked for you guys, and
I'm stoked for you. You even pivoted. You pivoted with your, what is that? Your general So,
Panda
or
General store.
I
yeah,
actually
that.
want to talk to you about that. That's really
Oh
cool.
yeah, Panda
Yeah, yeah.
General.
I know,
Gosh,
that was like
I'm
lot
so
of-
proud. I bought a couple of sausages.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, a lot.
I like
A lot of
that
sausages.
One.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love sausages.
No, so we'll leave it at that.
leave it at that.
Thank you,
That's
everyone.
big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.